Alexander Harrington stormed through the grand oak doors of his Manhattan penthouse. His designer suit rumpled from a brutal day of boardroom battles. The scent of simmering pasta sauce wafted from the kitchen, but it did nothing to calm the storm brewing inside him. What he saw next made his blood boil. His 5-year-old son, Tommy, splashing happily in a massive stainless steel stockpot in the middle of the marble bathroom floor, while the new nanny, Jamie, knelt beside him with a sponge. "What the hell is this?" Alexander bellowed, his voice echoing off the high ceilings. Jamie looked up, startled, his blue eyes wide with surprise. "Mr. Harrington, the bathtub faucet broke this morning. I called maintenance, but they couldn't come until tomorrow." Tommy needed a bath after spilling paint everywhere during arts and crafts. Alexander's face flushed with rage. He had hired Jamie on a whim, recommended by a friend who swore by his childcare skills. But this, bathing his heir in a kitchen pot like some impoverished family? It was unacceptable. "Get him out of there now. This is ridiculous. You're fired." Tommy's lower lip quivered, and he started to cry. "Daddy, no. Jamie's fun. Don't fire him." The boy's plea hit Alexander like a punch to the gut. He paused, watching as Jamie gently lifted Tommy from the pot, wrapping him in a fluffy towel. There was something tender in the way Jamie handled his son, a patience Alexander himself often lacked amid his billion-dollar empire. Sighing, Alexander rubbed his temples. "Fine, but explain yourself properly." Jamie nodded, drying Tommy off and dressing him in pajamas. As they moved to the living room, with its panoramic views of Central Park, Jamie recounted the day's chaos. The broken faucet, Tommy's messy playtime, and how he'd improvised with the pot to keep things normal. "I grew up in a big family in Brooklyn," Jamie said softly. "We made do with what we had. I didn't mean to upset you." Alexander felt a twinge of guilt. His own childhood had been one of privilege but emotionally barren, his parents more focused on status than affection. He glanced at his watch. Elena, his wife, was late again from her charity event. Lately, her absences had become frequent, laced with excuses that didn't add up. "All right, you're not fired, but no more pots. Understand?" Jamie smiled faintly, a dimple appearing on his cheek. "Understood, sir." As Tommy hugged Jamie goodnight, Alexander couldn't shake the unease settling in his chest. Something about Jamie's calm demeanor unsettled him, stirring feelings he hadn't acknowledged in years. The next morning, Alexander woke to the sound of laughter from the kitchen. Tommy and Jamie were making pancakes, flour dusting their noses. Elena was still in bed, claiming a headache. Alexander joined them, pouring coffee, and for the first time in months, the penthouse felt alive. Jamie chatted easily about his art degree, how he turned to nannying after his gallery dreams fizzled in the recession. As days turned into weeks, Alexander found himself lingering at home more, drawn to the routine Jamie had established. Tommy thrived under his care, reading levels up, tantrums down. But Elena grew distant, her phone buzzing incessantly with messages she hid from view. One evening, after tucking Tommy in, Alexander confronted her in their master suite. "Where were you really last night?" he demanded. Elena flipped her hair, avoiding his gaze. "I told you the gala ran late." But her eyes darted to her purse, where her phone lay. Suspicion gnawed at him. That night, unable to sleep, Alexander scrolled through her unlocked device. Texts from Mark, intimate and damning. His world tilted. The confrontation exploded the next day. Elena admitted the affair, tearfully claiming Alexander's workaholic nature had driven her away. "You're never here, Alex. It's like I'm married to a ghost." He yelled back, accusations flying, but deep down, he knew the rot went further. Their marriage had been a facade from the start, a strategic alliance between old money families, not born of love. Jamie overheard the fight from the hallway, Tommy clutching his hand. "Is Mommy leaving?" the boy whispered. Jamie knelt, reassuring him. "Families have tough times, buddy, but we'll get through it." Alexander emerged, face ashen, and met Jamie's concerned eyes. For a moment, Vulnerability cracked his armored exterior. In the following days, as divorce lawyers circled, Alexander leaned on Jamie more. Late-night talks over whiskey revealed shared pains. Jamie's conservative family disowning him after he came out as gay in college. Alexander's buried secret of a college fling with a roommate, dismissed as a phase to appease his parents. One rainy afternoon, while Tommy napped, they sat on the balcony. "I envy your courage," Alexander admitted. "Living authentically." Jamie shrugged. "It cost me everything at first. But hiding? That's a slower death." Their hands brushed accidentally, sending a spark through Alexander. He pulled away, confused. As Elena packed her bags, the truth about her affair unraveled further. She'd been seeing Mark for years, even before Tommy's birth. DNA doubts crept in, but a test confirmed Tommy was his. Relief mixed with betrayal. Amid the chaos, Jamie became his anchor, their bond deepening subtly. The divorce proceedings dragged on like a bad dream, with Elena fighting for custody and a hefty settlement. Alexander's lawyers painted her as the adulteress, but her team countered with claims of emotional neglect. The media sniffed around, tabloids hinting at trouble in paradise for the Harrington heir. Alexander buried himself in work, acquiring a tech startup to distract from the pain, but evenings brought him back to the penthouse, where Jamie and Tommy waited. Jamie had become indispensable, organizing playdates and even helping with Alexander's schedule. One night, after a grueling court session, Alexander collapsed on the couch. "How do you do it?" he asked Jamie, who handed him a glass of scotch. "Do what?" "Stay so positive. My life's a mess." Jamie sat beside him, their knees touching. "I've been through messes too. Coming out to my family, they called it a choice, a sin. I lost them, but gained myself." Alexander stared into his glass. "I've never told anyone. In college, there was this guy. We were close, but my father would have disowned me. So I chose the path expected. Marriage, kid, empire." The confession hung in the air. Jamie's hand rested on his shoulder. "It's never too late to choose differently." Alexander looked up, their eyes locking. A warmth spread through him, unfamiliar yet thrilling. He leaned in slightly, then pulled back. "I can't. Tommy needs stability." The next week, Elena dropped a bomb in court. She accused Alexander of being unfit, citing rumors from old friends about his questionable college days. "He's hiding who he is," her lawyer sneered. The judge raised an eyebrow, and Alexander's stomach dropped. How did she know? Had she always suspected? Back home, he confided in Jamie. "She knows about me, or suspects." Jamie's face softened. "And if she does? What then?" Alexander paced. "It could ruin everything. The board, investors, they're conservative. I'd lose the company, maybe Tommy." Jamie stood firm. "Hiding won't protect you forever. Look at me. I nanny for a living, but I'm free." Their conversation turned personal, Jamie sharing stories of past relationships, heartbreaks from men afraid to commit. Alexander felt a pull, an attraction he couldn't deny. One evening, as rain pelted the windows, he admitted, "I think I'm falling for you." Jamie's breath caught. "Alex, this is complicated." But the kiss that followed was tentative, real, years of suppression breaking free. They pulled apart, breathless. "We can't," Alexander whispered. "Not yet." Society's shadows loomed. At a charity gala, Alexander attended solo, whispers following him. An old business rival cornered him. "Heard about Elena, and that nanny of yours, male? Unusual choice." The insinuation stung. Alexander deflected, but doubt seeded. Tommy noticed the shifts. "Why does Jamie make you smile more, Daddy?" Innocent questions pierced. Alexander explained carefully. "Jamie's a good friend." But inside, conflict raged, love versus legacy. Elena's team escalated, subpoenaing Jamie to testify about the household. In preparation, Jamie revealed his own fears. "If they dig into my past, my orientation, it could hurt your case." Alexander reassured him, but tension mounted. A family intervention came unannounced. Alexander's parents arriving from their Hamptons estate. "This divorce is a scandal," his father boomed. "And that nanny? Fire him. Hire a proper woman." Alexander defended Jamie, but his mother probed. "Is there something we should know, son?" The pressure built, forcing Alexander to confront his truth. In a quiet moment, Jamie and Alexander stole away to Central Park. "I want this," Alexander said. "Us." Jamie smiled. "Then fight for it." But as paparazzi snapped photos from afar, the world closed in. The photo hit the tabloids. Harrington's mystery man? Divorce drama deepens? Alexander stared at the grainy image of him and Jamie walking closely in the park. His phone exploded with calls from the board. Investors pulling out. "This looks bad, Alex," his CEO warned. "Optics matter." At home, Tommy pointed to the newspaper. "That's you and Jamie." Alexander scooped him up. "Just friends, buddy." But the lie tasted bitter. Jamie arrived, face pale. "My family's calling non-stop. They saw it." The court date loomed. Elena's lawyer grilled Jamie on the stand. "Describe your relationship with Mr. Harrington." Jamie stayed composed. "Professional. I care for his son." But probing questions about late nights hinted at more. Alexander watched, heart pounding. Post-hearing, Elena cornered him in the hallway. "I always knew, Alex. You married me to hide." Her words cut deep. "It wasn't fair to either of us." Back home, Alexander broke down. "She's right. I used her as a shield." Jamie held him. "You were scared. But now." Their embrace turned passionate. Emotions raw. Yet societal backlash intensified. Protests from conservative shareholders demanded his resignation. "No place for that lifestyle in leadership," one emailed. Alexander fought back, holding a press conference. "My personal life is mine. Focus on the company's success." But stocks dipped. Friends distanced themselves, invitations dried up. Even Tommy's school whispered, parents questioning the environment. Amid the storm, Jamie's past resurfaced. An ex-boyfriend, bitter, leaked old photos online. "Nanny's scandalous history," the headline screamed. Jamie crumbled. "I should have warned you." Alexander pulled him close. "We're in this together." A turning point came at Tommy's birthday party. Hired clowns and cake couldn't mask the tension. Alexander's parents attended. Stiff. His father pulled him aside. "End this nonsense. For the boys' sake." But watching Jamie orchestrate games, Alexander realized this was family. That night, he proposed a plan. "Let's leave the city. Start fresh." Jamie hesitated. "What about your empire?" "It's nothing without happiness." But reality intruded. A custody battle twist. Elena offered joint if Alexander stayed discreet. The choice tore at him. Authenticity versus fatherhood. Debates with Jamie grew heated. "Don't sacrifice yourself," Jamie urged. "Tommy needs a happy dad." Yet fear gripped Alexander. Social conflicts peaked at a dinner with allies. A homophobic remark from a guest ignited Alexander. "Love is love. If you can't accept that, leave." Guests departed awkwardly, but Jamie beamed with pride. As high society shunned them, underground support emerged. LGBTQ groups reaching out, sharing stories. Alexander attended a meeting anonymously, moved by tales of struggle and triumph. The custody hearing reached fever pitch. Elena's team presented evidence of an unstable home. Tabloid clippings, witness statements from former employees claiming inappropriate closeness between Alexander and Jamie. The judge frowned. Alexander's lawyer countered with character references. Tommy's glowing reports. On the stand, Alexander spoke truthfully for the first time. "I've lived a lie for years, afraid of judgment. But loving Jamie doesn't make me a bad father." Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Elena's face twisted in surprise. Outside, protesters clashed, supporters waving rainbow flags, opponents chanting slurs. Media frenzy ensued, Alexander's company stock plummeting further. Board members called an emergency meeting. "Step down or we'll force you out." Torn, Alexander confided in Jamie during a midnight walk. Losing everything. Is it worth it? Jamie stopped, cupping his face. You're worth it. We are. Their kiss under streetlights felt defiant. But tragedy struck. Tommy fell ill with a high fever, rushing to the ER. Elena arrived, accusing, "This stress is your fault." Doctors assured it was just flu, but the scare unified them momentarily. In the waiting room, Alexander held Jamie's hand openly. Recovery brought clarity. Alexander addressed the board. "If my truth costs me this position, so be it. Integrity over profit." Surprisingly, younger members rallied, ousting the old guard. Stocks rebounded with progressive investor influx. Social ripples continued. Alexander's parents visited, his mother tearful. "We were wrong. We love you." His father grumbled but nodded. Reconciliation began. Jamie's family, however, remained estranged. A painful call ended in hang-up. "They'll come around," Alexander promised. But doubt lingered. Romantic tensions arose. Jealousy when an old flame contacted Jamie. "Do you regret this?" Alexander asked. Jamie laughed. "Never." Their bond strengthened through therapy, navigating coming-out challenges. Public appearances as a couple drew mixed reactions. Praise from allies, hate mail from foes. A debate on national TV pitted Alexander against a conservative pundit. "Traditional families built this country." Alexander retorted, "Love builds families." As custody resolved in joint favor, with Elena softening, life normalized. But underlying conflicts simmered, societal acceptance versus personal peace. With the divorce finalized, Alexander and Jamie moved to a quieter brownstone in Brooklyn, blending into a more accepting neighborhood. Tommy adjusted, excited for two dads' playdates. Alexander scaled back his empire, consulting remotely, prioritizing family. Yet echoes of controversy persisted. At a school event, a parent confronted them. "Is this appropriate for kids?" Alexander responded calmly, "Love is always appropriate." The incident sparked online debates, hashtags trending. Jamie's art revived, a gallery show featuring pieces inspired by their journey. Opening night, Alexander beamed as critics praised the emotional depth. "This is us," Jamie whispered. Holidays brought blended family attempts. Elena joining for Christmas, awkward but civil. Tommy thrived, his drawings showing happy stick figures of all three. But a final twist. An anonymous letter revealed Elena's affair partner, Mark, was a business rival sabotaging Alexander's deals. Confrontation led to legal action, vindicating Alexander's instincts. In quiet moments, Alexander reflected on choices. "I almost lost it all," he told Jamie by the fireplace, "but gained everything." Jamie nodded. "Regrets? None." As years hinted at passing, their story inspired others, young execs coming out, families reconciling. Yet questions lingered in society's undercurrents. Was it right for Alexander to pursue his true self, even if it disrupted his son's world?